kind of just dove right into it, but I didn't really know what I was getting into. And I told my husband, I was like, it's kind of like you're working with a 10-year-old because I don't have a lot of experience with guns. So it's like I'm a child again, trying to figure out a gun and, trying to shoot an animal. Like it's very intimidating, right? So I think when I first started, it wasn't like I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't pressure from anybody, but I just felt like I had to, right? Because if I'm going on these trips, like I feel like I need to, right? But at that point, I didn't feel like it was because I wanted to. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. Can I ask you a question? I don't want to sidetrack us too much, but like, I think your approach into hunting might be the best way to approach if you want to get into hunting, to approach it, because the easy part is pulling the trigger or finding an animal and letting the arrow go. Like the work begins after that, and it's very daunting. Right. And to kind of take it back to people eat lion meat and stuff like that. It is against the law if you get an animal down and you don't take every consumable piece of it and have it processed for human consumption. Mm-hmm. And that includes not getting it out in time and letting it spoil. Right. Like technically, CPW or Colorado Parks and Wildlife can write you a ticket. Mm-hmm. You can lose your hunting privileges. You can even go to jail over it. Right. I don't know for sure, but it might be a federal crime. I know
you're right. I'm pretty sure you are. It's funny, though, that you say that that's the easy part is pulling the trigger, because to me, that was the hard part. Like, I was like, I don't want to injure an animal. Like, that was my biggest fear. And
like, emotionally, that was the hard part. That emotionally, that is the hardest part for me, honestly. Like, I do not like to kill stuff. I don't like to see stuff die. Like, if I had to, yes, I know that I can do that. Do I do it every year? I do. Right. But I do it for everything else that happens. But there's a sad, sad moment. Right. Every time that I let an arrow go, which I don't pull a trigger for that very reason, because I don't have the same sort of, and this is no knock on anybody, that
connection to it like you do with the bow.
It's just like it's almost, I don't know. It's just not it's like it's spiritual for me. It's not. It is fair. And it needs to be done. And I don't knock anybody that hunts with a rifle and doesn't hunt with a bow. I've just hunted with a bow since I was a kid, and I grew up in a family of bow hunters. So that's what I know. And that's where I've had my most intimate experiences with animals, I think, and the closeness and the difficulty. And I feel like the more difficult something is, the more you appreciate it. I think that's a huge connection to me in hunting, is every time that I put down my dinner plate and there's elk or deer or bison, even if I didn't kill it, but I went through the entire butchering process for 16 hours with my buddy Donnie Dust, like it brings a smile to my face preparing it.
And that goes back to that disconnect that people have when they go to the grocery store and they're just buying meat. Like they have no idea where that came from. So it makes you appreciate it even more because you know what you went through to get it. Yeah. You kind of know a little bit of what that animal went through and the life that it lived in the backcountry. It just makes you more grateful and appreciative, less wasteful, I think, too, right?
Oh, 100%. Like, I don't waste any of it. I think that that's the best way to honor the animal is to not waste any of it, right? And I think it's okay to have, I'm not even going to call it a trophy. I think it's okay to have a skull or a mount or something, because
it's memories, right?
It does. It takes you back to it the same way it does on your dinner plate. But it's over time, if it's in the freezer for more than 3 years, it's done. Right. It's no good. Ours barely lasts a year, right?
It's like time to go back out. We're out of meat.
Yeah, 100%. And there's no cleaner way to eat, and the family loves to eat it. So I think that that's a way to honor the animal forever, right? Like, and I think there's so much value in those memories. Like, we have some elk racks from the early 1900s in my family.
Really?
Yeah.
From when they homesteaded out here?
Yeah.
That's very
pretty
cool.
badass.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That have been in the family that long. And so, yeah, I just think that it's a way to, it's a memento that's much more than just the animal too. I think it's a memory and a stamp in time that like those moments that I've had hunting, I can almost remember every one of them vividly because they have such a big impact in my life.
Right. And you see the animal and you think about camp and you think about where you harvested it, and all the stuff goes into it, I think, when you have that kind of memento, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're 100% right on that. So I guess to bring it back to kind of what I was saying about like the way that you got into hunting, I think experiencing the pack out and the field dressing and the hardest stuff of hunting to me, not emotionally, but like physically,
Right.
because definitely emotionally killing it is the hardest thing for me, hands down.
Yep. And that was me too. Like, I felt like that was going to be the hardest part. So I felt like I was taking the easy way out, even though I was packing it out and helping field dress and, you know, doing all the things except for pulling the trigger. I felt like I'm kind of taking the easy way out because
no,
I don't want to be the person that that shoots it. But then it was like, you know, if I'm gonna talk the talk and be passionate about it and appreciate these animals and, you know, be all about hunting, like, I have to learn how to do this, but I have to learn the right way. Like, I need to start practicing, go to the shooting range. I took some courses at Cameo. Have you been to Cameo out near Grand Junction? Incredible shooting range. It's awesome.
Really? Okay.
But they have all kinds of competitions and stuff out there. But yeah, just and you owe that to the animal, like becoming a better shot, right?
Yes.
So that's when I just really
that's part of being a good
it.
human. I think. Yeah.
And my husband was super patient with me, and he was like my guide through it all, and showed me how to do stuff. And because again, like, it's just a second nature to him. So I'm like, again, it's like I'm like a child learning how to use this gun and, like, you know, learn all the steps and target acquisition and stuff like that. So I just told myself I was going to do it, and that was my next challenge because I love to challenge myself with stuff and just become a better human.
It builds confidence, it builds resilience, it builds so many things. I think for me, from a child, like taking my first elk or deer at, 11, 12 years old was my first experience of like an emotional roller coaster where you're happy, but then you're super sad.
Yeah.
And then you're happy again, and then you get sad a little bit, and then
it gets hard, and then you got to pack it out.
You see all the blood, and you see the guts, and you see everything that comes along with it. It really puts a value on a life,
right?
To the point where I was like, okay, I understand what life is now,
right?
And I understand how fast it can be taken away, and I really understand how fast it can be taken away with a weapon.
Yeah,
like
and it's so interesting too, because like I had been there for multiple hunts, like seen multiple animals taken. And it was emotional to me, but it's so different when it's your own, when you take it yourself.
Yeah. Because you have to make that decision.
Right.
Right? Like, that decision is hard.
Yeah.
That is one of the toughest decisions, I think.
But once you're in it and you're committed, like, you're in it, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, too. I don't know if you want to pull up the
yeah, let's absolutely pull it up.
So it's a pretty cool story, because this was my first, if you scroll down a little bit, little bit more. I believe it's that. Go up just one more. I think it's that middle one right there.
This one?
Yeah. This was my first hunt. It was for mule deer. Points for this unit. So speaking of like difficult hunts, I have been on difficult hunts, difficult pack outs. Again, never my own.
Is that your husband?
That's my husband.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the day we go out.
What's his name? Sorry.
Kyle.
Give him a shout out. Yeah.
That's Kyle.
I thought you were going to maybe bring him up with you today.
No, he's actually out in the woods.
Oh, nice. Good for Kyle.
But so it was like -8 degrees and we're going out, right? Mm-hmm. So if you go over a couple more, I'll show you so -8. We're out there, windy, snowy. We're, bopping around in the truck, getting out to hike when we can. But we come across these guys that are out there in ATVs, UTVs, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, we know where some good deer are. Like, we'll take you around tomorrow. So we're like, okay. Yeah, I mean, that sounds awesome. So the next morning we hop in with them and they put us on a deer and it's like 100 yards.
Nice.
It's like the easiest hunt I'll probably ever have in my entire life.
Absolutely.
But it was such a cool experience and so much fun. And those guys, they're from Leadville. And it was probably like, that's a very blurry picture, but so even at this point, it was probably, I don't know, 2 degrees. Like, it was still really cold. But they're from Leadville, right? All the guys that were with us. And they're, like, rolling up their sleeves because they're hot.
Right.
I'm like, you're different people from Leadville. I thought I had the picture of all of them, though. There's a picture of, I'll have to pull it up on my phone, but a picture of me standing there with the deer, and then it's...
We'll overlay it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And if you're listening to this, you should definitely go to YouTube at the Mountainside Pod and check this out. These are awesome photos.
Yeah, it's really cool. But, so yeah, they were awesome guys, really helped us out.
Isn't that so cool? Like, that's the other thing, too, about my experience with most hunters, like almost, especially archery hunters, is like I've been out a lot of solo trips, and typically I go with family members, and I don't mind going on those solo trips, but I've met so many amazing people in the middle of the woods that are like just willing to help you, or we end up hunting together or whatever.
And they were even done. Like they were all out there for one person to get his deer. They were done and ready to go, but then like we met them and they're like, oh yeah, we'll hang out with you. We'll take you hunting.
That's awesome.
Drive you around. Yeah, it was so cool. People are, very helpful. It's cool to come across people like that. It's like a family.
Yeah, you understand how hard it is. Like you know what each person goes through to achieve something.
Right. And
that's
you appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's so rad. What a cool experience.
Yeah. So now I'm hooked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Not to beat this up, but to take it back, I encourage anybody, if you're listening to this and you want to get into hunting, go with a hunter. Don't go hunt. Yeah. Just don't go get a tag. See what it's all about. Experience all that hardship. And then I think it won't be as daunting when you do actually put the animal down, because you're going to have that emotional roller coaster. You're going to have that adrenaline dump. You're going to have all these other emotions to deal with. And then you're going to have to learn the process of cutting something up, field dressing it, packing it.
Right.
Like that's an undertaking.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think, oh, this will be easy. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 hours later, you're like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
and like
about
you said,
to die.
It was a roller coaster. Like you're never comfortable when you're out there. You're either hot or you're cold or it's windy or,
Yeah, it's hard.
But it's all part of it, right? And that's why we love it.
100%, yeah. I guess, what was kind of that driving force or the tipping point where you were like, I just have to do this? Was it a passion thing, or was it like a self-achievement type thing, or was it a little bit of both?
I think it was a little bit of both. So I've never told this story before. And I know that people, like, mistakes happen all the time, but so
this room bleeds truth, by the way.
Right? That's what I've noticed, that people like, you're like a therapist.
Yeah.